This is Algebra 2, 2.4, writing linear equations. Remember from Algebra 1 that m is slope, b is y-intercept, and that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We also have point-slope form, and the formula is there where x1 and y1 are points on a graph, so it would be like your xy point, your coordinate, and m is the slope, and you can plug those in and solve for y as well on that one. Remember also from Algebra 1 that parallel lines have the, hopefully you've answered it, same slope. And perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So for example, if you have the slope 1/2, the opposite would be the negative sign. So if one's positive, the other one's negative. That's the opposite part. Reciprocal means you flip it. So it would be negative 2 over 1, which is the same thing as negative 2. If your first line had a slope of 5, the line perpendicular to that would have a negative 1/5 slope. So you would flip that. Let's write an equation. If I tell you that the slope, or m, is 1.5, and it passes through the point 0, 5. Now if you notice 0, 5, there's a 0 in that must mean it's some type of intercept. And when I plug the 0 in, this tells me this is a y-intercept. So remember your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. If they tell me my m is 1.5, and my slope-intercept is the same thing, my b is the same thing as my y-intercept, then this is my y-intercept, so then the answer would be plus 5. Let's get one that's a little bit harder. We want to write the equation of the line that passes through negative 2, negative 6, and 4, 6. So let's go ahead and do the slope. So we do 6, we have to put it in the slope formula, 6 minus negative 6 divided by 4 minus negative 2. Well, 6 minus negative 6 is the same thing as 6 plus 6, so we have 12. 4 minus negative 2 is the same thing as 4 plus 2, so we have 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2, so our slope in this problem is 2. And if you remember back to Algebra 1, to find our b, we have to pick one of these points. It doesn't matter which point you pick as long as you pick one of these two. So you'll get the same answer. I normally look for smaller numbers that are positive. So I'm going to go with the 4, 6. So I plug in 6 for y, 4 for x, and then you just solve the problem. This is not my answer. Negative 2 is not my answer because remember I asked you to write the equation. So your equation is y equals 2x, because that's my slope, minus 2. And some of you are going, wait, but the formula was plus b. It is plus b, but it's a minus 2. So you have to put minus 2, not plus negative 2, because we're in Algebra 2 now, and we know that we don't do that anymore. We don't do a plus negative 2, you just write that as minus 2. Okay, let's do another problem. And again, I would prefer after this problem's written down that you pause it, work the problem, and then pick back up on the video. So find the equation of that line. Okay, so hopefully you've had time to work and that you've paused the video and are now watching it again with us. So 10 minus negative 5, because you have to find the slope. The first thing you always do to write the equation is find the slope. So negative 3 minus negative 8. So 10 minus negative 5, we're going to have 15. Negative 3 minus negative 8 is the same thing as negative 3 plus 8, so we have 5. 15 over 5 is 3. So our slope is equal to 3. So now let's plug that in, and I'm going to use negative 3, 10 as my points. And I don't have to write it as y equals 3x plus b. I can go ahead and start substituting things in. So 10 is equal to 3 times negative 3 plus b. So 10 is equal to negative 9 plus b. Add 9 to both sides. 19 is equal to b. So my equation is y equals 3x plus 19. Okay, my next one that I want us to do, I want you to write the line that passes through the point 4, 2, but is perpendicular to y equals negative 2x plus 3. So if it's perpendicular, that means we have opposite reciprocal slopes. So this slope is negative 2, so we need to know the slope of our new line. So this one's negative, our new one will be positive. If this is 2, we flip it and we get 1/2. So now we just have to substitute things into the problem to find our b. Or sorry, to find our b. So if we have y equals mx plus b, remember these are points. So we have 2, because that's our y, is equal to 1/2, which is our slope. Our x is 4 plus b. We're looking for that b. So 2 is equal to, well, 1/2 times 4, half of 4 is 2, plus b. We subtract 2 from both sides. We get that 0 is equal to b. So when we write our new equation, it's y equals 1/2 x. Now, technically you could write plus 0, but we're in Algebra 2 now and we know that we don't write plus 0 because we're adding nothing. And so we leave it like this. So these two lines are perpendicular. They have opposite reciprocal slopes, and perpendicular means that the two lines cross and form a 90-degree angle. So these two lines would cross and form that 90-degree angle because their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Let's do another problem. It passes through the point negative 6, and again, it would be probably best for you to pause it and try these on your own. And it's parallel to y equals 4/3 x plus 8, which means they have parallel lines. They have the same slope. So our slope for our new line is going to be 4/3. All we have to do is find our b. So let's plug everything in. Negative 6 is equal to 4/3 times negative 6 plus b. So negative 6 is equal to negative 8, 4/3 times negative 6. And to do that, take negative 6 divided by 3 and you get negative 2. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. The more practice you do in your head with fractions, the better you'll become. Using your calculator less will make you better with mental math. It's just something you have to practice. So our b is 2. So let's write our equation. Y equals 4/3 x plus 2. Okay, let's do one more problem and this lesson will be complete. The new line, or the line I want you to write, passes through 10, 2 and is perpendicular to y equals 4x plus 6. Now, if the line they give you is not in slope-intercept form, you need to put it in slope-intercept form first before you start finding the slope. So in this case, our slope is 4. Since they're perpendicular lines, we're going to have an opposite reciprocal slope on our new line, and that's going to be negative 1/4. So we have 2 is equal to negative 1/4 times 10 plus b. So we have 2 is equal to negative 5/2, because this would be negative 10/4, which reduces by 2, so negative 5/2 plus b. Add your 5/2 there, and you get 4.5, or 9/2, which is probably how I would write it. I would prefer 9/2. So when I write my equation, y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 9/2. And that completes the lesson 2.4, writing equations.